On the Fringe with Dan Radio Style. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. They are freaking out about Kash Patel. I got a small section about it. Got a really good show put together for us. A lot of good video, a lot of things to talk about. Let's get the ball rolling, actually, rather than wasting time. Well, or filling it with other things. How about that? Just a quick reminder. Google Maps has now indeed updated the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. Apparently, it depends on where your country preference is. So if your country preference is America, you're going to see it as the Gulf of America. Everywhere else in the world, you'll probably see it as both names. All said, this particular image doesn't show it as Gulf of America, but supposedly that change has been made. I didn't actually double check. I don't really honestly care that much, but it does kind of show that Trump is moving in the right direction. I'm not going to play Jim Acosta's farewell speech, but lest be said, CNN has parted ways with Jim Acosta, or Jim Acosta has parted ways with CNN. Either way, he's no longer on the news with CNN. And here's a fun little reminder of how annoying he was back in the day, and certainly glad that Jim Acosta is no longer on the air.
People. But your campaign had an ad showing migrants climbing over walls and so on. Well, that's true. But they weren't actors. They're not going to be doing that. They weren't actors. Well, no, it's true. Do you think they were actors? They weren't actors. They didn't come from Hollywood. Right. These were people. This was an actual, it happened a few days ago. And they're hundreds of miles away, though. They're hundreds and hundreds of miles away. That's not an invasion. Honestly, I think you should let me run the country. You run CNN. All right. And if you did it well, your ratings would be much better. If I may ask one other question, Mr. President, if I may ask one other question, are you worried?
That's enough. That's enough.
Mr. President, I was going to ask one of the other folks.
That's enough.
Pardon me, ma'am. Mr. President,
that's enough.
Mr. President, I had one other question, if I may ask, on the Russia investigation. Are you concerned that you may have?
I'm not concerned about anything with the Russian investigation because it's a hoax. That's enough. Put down the mic.
Mr. President, are you worried about indictments coming down in this investigation?
Mr. President.
I'll tell you what, CNN should be ashamed of itself having you working for them. You are a rude, terrible person. You shouldn't be working for CNN. Go.
And he's no longer working for CNN. Didn't it almost look like Trump was about to walk down there and take the damn microphone out of his hand? Oh, it felt like it's me. Yeah, he's like, oh, mofo, I may be the president, but I'm about to commit a crime and have to pardon myself right here, right now. We'll see how it plays out. Elon Musk's X is going to begin its push into financial services with a Visa deal. This is pretty cool for anybody out there that's actually got some traction in the Twitterverse or Xverse. You've now got the ability to move money around, pay people within the app, and all that good kind of stuff. So very cool. Kind of a neat way to set things up. And it kind of makes sense considering you mostly pay your premium or whatever, right, with a credit card. So why wouldn't they be able to use that same kind of system to move money around? Be similar to like Zelle or Venmo. Obviously, we're not talking about like PayPal and crap like that because, yeah, PayPal sucks. PayPal's horrible. And it was odd that Musk started PayPal and how bad it became after he left. Funny. But seriously, Donald Trump is the rock star. He truthed this out. The United States military just entered the great state of California and, under emergency powers, turned on the water flowing abundantly from the Pacific Northwest and beyond. The days of putting a fake environmental argument over the people are over. Enjoy the water, California. Big time. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you doing that for us. We obviously needed the help. All Pacific Palisades residents are now allowed to return to their home for the first time since the fire. I'm assuming this is people with homes. It seems like an odd choice of word when the home's been burned down. I guess it's where you hang your hat, technically, but if your home has been burned down, isn't it now just your property? Not sure. Not trying to be a dick either. But it does seem kind of strange to be able to say, oh, you can go home now. It's like, to what? The rubble? Sure. And again, you'd want to go and look to see if anything, precious things might have survived, right? So all Pacific Palisades residents are now allowed to return to home. I guess they're keeping probably a larger group of people out of these areas. There's another thing that Trump has accomplished for us in California. They wanted to hold this much longer. They wanted to keep us out significantly longer. I'm sure they wanted to be able to root through stuff and steal it how they do, and they probably do it with criminal people. Whatever the case is, they're letting people in there finally. This is a big moment. Hopefully we can begin the rebuilding process. Bad day at the, stock market yesterday for any of you guys playing along at home. AVGO, I'm not sure who that is. They're down 17% yesterday. Google was down 4.2% or 420. Microsoft was down 2.14%. NVIDIA was down 16.97%. Got a buddy that's kind of watching on this today. He says it looks like it's gained back about half of its losses. It's kind of cool. Tesla was down about 2.3%. And a number of other companies, they're all listed here. Looking, ANET was down 22%. Can't read that one's too small, but it was 11%. So again, a lot of bad days for a lot of stocks. It was a tough day in the tech stocks yesterday. $787 billion just wiped off the books. Now again, you've technically only lost money if you sell, but that's one of the things we've been talking about with precious metals. It protects you from this kind of volatility. The former speaker, Nancy Pelosi, her largest recent transactions, she sold Apple Inc. back in December 31st. She got rid of 31,000 shares, valued between $5 million and $25 million. On the same day, she sold 10,000 shares of NVIDIA stock worth about $1 million to $5 million. Almost like she knew something was coming. Strange how that works. Especially because recently there's been a lot of talk about you got to buy NVIDIA, all these great contracts that they've got. And again, that's what happens. The information that generally gets leaked to the public is usually late, and it oftentimes inspires us to do the opposite of what we should do. It's really funny how it tends to work. NASDAQ's climbing back from Monday's deep seek sparked panic. So today is a much better day than it was. Let's make sure we got fresh numbers here. Yeah, so NASDAQ has gained some of it back. It's up 1.69%. S&P is up a little. Gold is up a little, $33. That's at $27.72. Again, just back over around COVID time, it was at about $1,700. Gold's up $1,000 in 5 years, folks. This is why it's so powerful. This is a major part of why it's so powerful. And silver is much the same as far as percentage-wise. We got to open this up to a new tab, and then I can do the prices. I actually haven't looked at the prices. So, yeah, we got $27.63 is the bid right now for gold. Silver's at $30.39, which is pretty good. It was down around, what was it, 23? I want to say way back then. So it's up quite a bit as well. Palladium I've talked about. Platinum I've talked about. Dude, they're both up quite a bit. They're nice. And then rhodium is another one you can probably get through my good friends at Goldco. They've got all sorts of crazy stuff that you can get, and they lowered the maximum amounts that you have to buy. In fact, there are no limits right now, to my understanding. So you can get whatever you'd like. But if you have a 401k or an IRA, I would strongly consider diversifying out of that shaky system, a system that is tied into a lot of the deep state stuff. And they're using some of the money for weird things. And again, there is a weird restructuring that's also happening. And none of us really know how this is going to play out. You just want to protect yourself. And one of the greatest places to protect yourself is precious metals. They always have been, probably always will be. It's just a very safe place to keep. Now, when stock markets are booming and there's sky's the limit, you can see growth all over the place. Well, yeah, there's different places that you might want to consider diversifying back into. Well, Goldco has the highest price buyback guarantee as well. There's a lot of good things going on with my good friends at Goldco. Go to drslikesgold.com. drslikesgold.com. Get out of that system, or at least diversify out of that system before you can't, right? Again, days like today happen, but most of us had some of this stock, so we might have taken a little hit. But there are other companies that you've probably got in your portfolio that you might want to consider being a little nervous about. I'm saying you diversify. You're not getting rid of all of it. You're not moving all your eggs out of this basket. You're looking at doing some of them, maybe up to half. That's about as far as they normally would. Like outside of that, they'd be like, oh, most people do 50%. So they're going to try to at least give you the best advice they can, but they are not your financial advisors. They're just, they'll tell you what other customers have done. They're not going to tell you what to do. That's just not their job. And they also don't believe all the crazy crap I talk about. That's just me. What they're very good at is making this whole thing happen, making sure all the I's are dotted and all the T's are crossed, and make sure you are a much more protected individual after with the precious metals. Go to drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. Get out of that crazy system of theirs before they get out of you. White House talked about finally Finally, I was wondering about this big time. I was kind of starting to get a little pissed off. Finally, talk about the mysterious drones over New Jersey.
And before I turn to questions, I do have news directly from the President of the United States that was just shared with me in the Oval Office. From President Trump directly, an update on the New Jersey drones. After research and study, the drones that were flying over New Jersey in large numbers were authorized to be flown by the FAA for research and various other reasons. Many of these drones were also hobbyists, recreational, and private individuals that enjoy flying drones. In time, it got worse due to curiosity. This was not the enemy.
So it was not the enemy, and it was the Biden administration that approved this. Approved it. They let us go running wild with it. They knew all along they could have said exactly that and chose not to. Why? Because they wanted us to speculate. Right? They had us blaming it on China because of an eyewitness that said he knew what was up. Just like the guy that was driving the Tesla truck supposedly wrote an email saying a lot of crazy stuff. Anti-gravitics, that they were using these drones. See, if this is true what Trump's telling us, and frankly, I believe that more. I do, right now. If that's actually true, then that email that the FBI said was accurate and was from him, well, that was a lie also. Once again, strange that the Biden administration wanted us to believe it was China. Then Tesla truck bomber sends an email saying this is China, and talking about the anti-gravitics and the technology they're using and how this is a major threat and unlimited payloads and crazy stuff. Even though the email was sent for Proton Mail for Android. On the email it said it. When the dude in the Tesla truck had an iPhone, no way he sent that from his iPhone. Otherwise it would say Proton Mail for iPhone or Apple, however it says it. No, it didn't say that. So think of the complications that this information coming out actually solidifies. Some of the speculation, and again, it gives you proof of how the deep state's working right now. They want us scared. They want us to get in a war. They want us to hate each other. So any Chinese immigrants that are living in this country, they want us to hate them. By the way, to all my Asian friends, hopefully there are some of you that watch me for some crazy reason. Happy New Year's. It's New Year's Eve technically today. Tomorrow is New Year's Day for the lunar calendar. So it's kind of a big day for the Asian communities out there. So that's awesome stuff. Not necessarily the Philippines. They're on our calendar. But most of the other Asian-y communities that are kind of more attached, big day for them. So all said, strange times right now. And I think we got to be really careful. Really careful. Because they're intentionally misleading us often. Anytime a story kind of really pushes hard in a direction, I personally get very leery. I'll bend with the push, and then I'll be like, all right, what's going on here? Instantly. If they try to push me into a way of thinking or into a place of thinking, I get very nervous about that. Because really, you should just be providing information to the best of your ability and say, this is kind of what I think it means. But when you're trying to push me into a direction and then utilizing facts and information to do that, that's very different. And again, not everybody's going to see through this. A lot of people are going to make it through this. I don't think this is necessarily a deal breaker for people, but if you want to be better at this, that's definitely important. Daniel Baldwin. He's never seen the White House briefing room like this. Pretty cool video. Check this out. I kind of wanted to look up pictures. I just thought of it right now, though, so otherwise it would have been a good idea. But when they had the circles in the briefing room after COVID, I don't know, it's just funny. And there's no way it was ever that packed with a Biden potential speech coming. Rapid Response 47 has been created. This appears to be it looks like a X account. At Rapid Response 47. This is the official Rapid Response account of the Trump 47 White House supporting POTUS's America First agenda. and holding the fake news accountable. MAGA, so it's all part of White House Gov and all that good stuff. It's got the gray check mark. So this is a legitimate site that many will likely want to follow. I don't want to click that right now, but we'll get there at some point. This is pretty interesting. Trump is actually literally talking about abolishing income tax. We've talked about this as a rumor for years. Oh, this is what they're going to do, and then we're going to go back to the original Constitution, the 1871, before the bankruptcy of the corporation United States, right? All this crazy stuff we've said. It kind of almost looks like we're heading in that direction, right? Am I missing something? Sure feels like it to me.
America is going to be very rich again, and it's going to happen very quickly. It's time for the United States to return to the system that made us richer and more powerful than ever before. Do you know, the United States in 1870 to 1913, all tariffs, and that was the richest period in the history of the United States, relatively speaking. In other words, relatively. And they set up the Great Tariff Commission of 1887, and this commission had one function: what to do with all the money that we took in. It was so enormous that they had no idea. It was a blue ribbon committee. It was set up 1887, and what to do with all of the money that we had. And again, Teddy Roosevelt was a beneficiary, because when McKinley was killed, he took over this vast sum of money, and he did all of those national parks and all of the other things. And I'm not knocking him, but he was given a vast amount of money, and that was all made through tariffs. We had no income tax. The income tax came in 1913. As I said in my speech last week, instead of taxing our citizens to enrich foreign nations, we should be tariffing and taxing foreign nations to enrich our citizens. Does that make sense, right?
I mean, there's been very few presidents that were not deep state, right? And it's funny, is a lot of people, I see so many posts. Like, I saw someone posting stuff that they think Joe Biden was a Manchurian candidate, which is hilarious. He's just such not, like, Obama was the most likely Manchurian candidate. I'd potentially put Bush on that as a Manchurian candidate. But Manchurian candidates were typically ones that, especially if you've seen the movie, were people that were kind of born into it, and they literally prepped for it. Biden was an idiot his whole life. There's no damn way he was a Manchurian candidate. But anyway, most presidents were, to a degree, Manchurian in that they were chosen. Trump was not. They didn't want him. They never wanted him. They did everything in their power to keep him from coming to this position. Very few have had this happen. Kennedy, Reagan, and I think they were fine with them in the position. I don't think they realized they were going to get out of control like they did. And so they got reprimanded, sometimes in very permanent ways. Sometimes they intended to be very permanent, but it did, thank God, didn't work out. So again, we've got a powerful man at the helm. He's making a lot of changes. He's making insane enemies right now, too. Let's not forget that. Again, drslikesgold.com. Think about how many of these bankers and these deep state thugs he's pissing off and freaking out, right? So again, National Governing Coalition. I almost didn't want to play this, but it's he's just talking about where we're going to be and trying to make sure we continue in this same direction. There's obviously been discussions about whether or not he can be president again. I feel like I've maybe got that one up. But all said, there's a lot of talk. And some of it is meant to inspire us. Some of it's meant to piss off and trigger the left, right? And some of it's in between. I think there's a lot going on. I don't think he's lying ever, but I do think he says things sometimes to get some people riled up. I'm not sure. I think this is kind of both, frankly.
Political majority that's shattering and replacing Franklin Roosevelt's New Deal coalition, which dominated American politics for over 100 years. That's what we're doing. And what Mike said before, common sense. It is a little bit of common sense. Maybe it's a lot of common sense. Under our leadership, the Republican Party has become the proud voice of hardworking American citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. We become the party of the American dream and wealth creation for everyone, not just the rich. If we do our job over the next 21 months, not only will House Republicans be reelected and expand our majority in 2026, we will cement a national governing coalition that will preserve American freedom for generations to come. There has never been anything like what's happened in politics in the last few years. Never been anything like it. Everybody, people of religion, everybody seems to be with us. I don't know how anybody could even vote for the other side. In many cases, they don't, but they do get credit for it. You'll have to think about that. I've raised a lot of money for the next race that I assume I can't use for myself, but I'm not 100% sure because I don't know. I think I'm not allowed to run again. I'm not sure. Am I allowed to run again, Mike? I better not get you involved in that argument. No, we raised a lot of money, a tremendous amount, and our teletown halls are something.
Now, again, if you're playing along at home, now the last thing the deep state ever is going to want to do is admit anything close to the truth, right? So they're always going to push you into a different direction of thinking, always. So whatever they tend to say, you almost know it's not that, though a lot of us do spend a lot of time waving the metal detector over their pile of crap, hoping to find some nugget of something in there that's metallic, when in reality you should be looking elsewhere. But Trump talking about whether or not he can be president again. Now, deep state's already floated, and they did it through, I forget who it was. I don't think it was Luna. It was members of Congress. That's what it was. Members of Congress. No specific names. Luna wanted to put his face on Rushmore. It's the only reason I'm being rough on her. Though, by the way, I did see a news story. I didn't pull it up because it wasn't worthy. But she actually was pushing a law through or doing something that was actually cool and positive. So I was like, all right, that's what you should be doing. I should have given her credit, but it wasn't big enough. Soon you will, Luna. I'm sure. I believe in you. But you're on the right track. I was happy. But a lot of people are saying, oh, they're going to make it where you can be 3 terms. They were pretty specific about not letting people do 3 terms after Roosevelt. I don't think that's necessarily the case. That's what they want us to believe. But what if, what I was hinting at earlier, what a lot of us have talked about, our conspiracy crazy talk, what if, hypothetically, he did, or we do, go back to the original Constitution, of which case he might, be the 17th president, 18th president? I forget the number specifically. But theoretically, if that were the case, well, I guess he could be president again. So that's the thing they don't want to talk about. They can't even mention, but he's bringing up 1913. He's bringing up going back to how it was prior to the Fed existing. 1913, Fed, IRS, FBI, all those things came into play. And that's when the Federal Reserve sank its teeth into us for good. And we started charging our own citizens tax because they don't care about us. We're chattel or chittle or whichever. Yeah. So we're going to go through a crazy time. Deep state does not want to let go. Everybody's under this auspice that we're going back to normal. No. Trump is in charge, and we've got major rough seas ahead of us. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. And what we gain from it will be immeasurable. But we are far from through the thick of it. I wish people understood that. There's this weird sense of calm. It just trips me out. I'm like, oh, man. Okay. I mean, hopefully people are ready because I've talked a lot about it. So when it hits, you might be surprised. Unless you're someone like me who's constantly, freaking out. President Trump signs executive order reinstating service members who refused the COVID vaccine. Beautiful. So that's awesome. Hopefully, I'm curious, how many don't go back. But, I mean, I'm sure going to be a bunch of people that do. And we need good troops right now. So if you think about it, that brought some in. I don't think there was that many, but it brought some in, which is very cool. President Trump has just placed multiple USAID officials on leave for failing to follow his executive orders blocking foreign aid per RCP's Susan Crabtree, right? Trump is not screwing around. These workers were conspiring to circumvent Trump's orders halting foreign aid and DEI spending, so the active administrator stepped in and put a stop to it. USAID is a wildly corrupt organization and shouldn't have been scrapped anyways, or should have been scrapped anyway. I'll just learn to read, and then a lot of this should make more sense, right? But yes, it's a corrupt organization, should have been scrapped, and this just reinforces that point. So the Jason Gray, the acting administrator, pushed this message out to all USAID employees We've identified several actions within USAID that appears to be designed to circumvent the president's executive orders and the mandate from the American people. As a result, we have decided to put a number of USAID employees on administrative leave with full pay and benefits until further notice while we complete our analysis of these actions. Now, it is fireable to have been a part of anything that was shady. If anything comes from that, they will be toast. The fact that they put on administrative leaves means they've been left the office and they've had their ability to access information cut off. They cannot destroy evidence. They cannot do anything. If they were involved, they just got caught. The fact that we're paying them is great. We're going to be doing a lot of this as we shut down bits of the government. We'll keep people paid. It's going to cost us a bunch from that standpoint, but trust me, it gets significantly cheaper a year down the road. We're heading in an awesome direction. It's going to have a lot of struggle getting there. Now, of course, there's going to be all sorts of lawsuits and everything else from this, but Trump is in charge. We've got another great example of them trying to take advantage of the rules, something Biden did right before he left. He's going to take it another fist in the butthole. Sorry, Biden, but Button. Sorry, buddy. You're going to lose again and again and again and again, and it's only because you suck. Really, but really, really bad, and like the worst. Rights groups are preparing to file lawsuits against Trump's transgender troop order, yada, yada. We knew this was coming. We saw it coming, but Trump's moving so fast with so many things. The courts cannot move that fast. And they're probably going to let Trump continue to have abilities to do these and enforce these things while they wait for these things to work through the courts. At least when the Supreme Court gets involved. So this is going to be interesting because, like, how many major things does the Supreme Court tend to hear in a year? It doesn't feel like very many. I don't know. I don't want to speculate a guess. I'm sure I'll be wrong, but I swear it feels like it's like less than 20. I'm sure there's some little stuff that we barely hear about, but it feels like they're just playing golf most of the time. I don't know what the hell they're doing. I feel like there's a lot of stuff they need to get on it. But the fight is going on. The fight, of course, from their side is, but they're not going to be able to keep up with the speed. Here is Thomas Massie talking to Gates. Again, I don't want to have it be lost that both of these guys have tried to get rid of the Speaker of the House, sort of in different ways. Again, Massie, whatever. I'll give him a sort of chance, but ultimately he's still in a bad place in my book. Just my book. I'm going to play about the first 2 minutes of this. It's interesting, and then we'll talk a teeny bit about it. It's not groundbreaking in my mind, but it is. And I think we'll find out more soon. And again, this is kind of, I don't know, I just feel like this is like, it's such crap intelligence, and I don't think Massey's got access to anything good anyways right now, but this, something he heard, whatever. Here it is.
You recently met with Capitol Police.
Correct. Today.
And what did you learn in that meeting?
I learned that backpack guy, January 6th backpack guy, not to be confused with January 5th backpack person, backpack guy was a non-uniform, plainclothes police officer in the employ of the Capitol Hill Police.
The person who found the pipe bomb, the person who, D'Antuono, who was leading the investigation, say, oh yeah, the person who found it, it'd be investigation 101, that they would be a suspect initially until ruled out. You're saying that person was an undercover, plainclothes Capitol Police officer, and the Capitol Police confirmed that to you today?
They confirmed that to me today, yes. So, by the way,
what does that mean to you?
Well, it heightens some of my concerns and reduces some of the other concerns, okay? One of the concerns that's heightened was, trying to give the Secret Service and the Metro Police Department the benefit of the doubt when they took 4 minutes, they finished their lunch before they went and dealt with this pipe bomb. I wanted to give them the benefit of the doubt and think that, well, if it's just some random passerby and he said, hey, there's something shiny over there, could be a lawn sprinkler, not sure, maybe want to check it out. But that's not what it was. It was a person who was, they say, again, when I relate this to you, I'm relating what the Capitol Police have told me. They say it was a Capitol Police officer who found this bomb and that he told them it was a bomb. He radioed it in, said, we've got the device. We found another device. remember, here's the other just amazing timing, is that the first pipe bomb, the one at the Capitol Hill Club, now they call it the RNC pipe bomb, but they really should be calling it the Capitol Hill pipe bomb. I mean,
and we're gonna kill it here, but it's what is powerful. One is the fact that the dude that they saw was Capitol Police, or at least employed by them. He's the one that found the bomb. Now, again, they took 4 minutes to get around to investigating this finding from one of their own. That's interesting. Two, the implication generally of the person that finds it, or the one who smelt it, dealt it, as we say in the fart community. But yes, the one who found it planted it. I wish I could have come up with a cool word real quick that rhymed with found sound, but that didn't work. Bound it. There you go. Try that one. So anyway, the one who found it, bound it. That is highly possible. Now, again, the coincidence, I forget. I think they both were dressed similar. The 2 days apart, the deliverer of said device and the finder of said device dressed similarly. I don't know if it's the same. I haven't seen. I feel like I can kind of see the guy walking in the first video, but I feel like I can't. I don't know if I've seen the video for the second one yet, or I have, and I don't. Maybe they're confused because they're similar. I don't know. I could fact check me, please. Put it in the comments. Thumbs up. Also, by the way, can you guys hit the thumbs up? It's a great way easy way to actually help my channel. It also tells, the Rumble or YouTube or BitChute or whoever you're watching on, hey, I like stuff like this. And then you'll get more stuff like this, but specifically my stuff, which is helpful for all of us. And also it helps with the algorithm. The more of those stupid things you got, especially relative to the number of people watching. Anyway, complex. I'm just pretending I understand it. I don't. Again, this is powerful information, and you could speculate further for sure. I mean, this is one of those fun ones when you're passing around things, at the party, and you want to get people sparked up on a thought process or a question. Like, all right, let's talk about the pipe bomber, because that's fun. You could do that one for, well, it'll feel like hours, but it'll probably be like minutes. Scott Bessent has just been confirmed as the new Secretary of Treasury. Final vote was 68 to 29. So good deal. That was not even a challenge, but good. I'm glad we got him through. Also, Kash Patel, the big one. His hearing is going to be 9:30 a.m. Thursday, which is 6:30 my time. I want to watch it live. I don't know if I'm going to stream it because that would cause me to not get to go to the gym. And that's what cardio day, and that's cardio and legs. I'm actually enhancing my workout now that I've got a little more time in my world. But that said, this is scaring the crap out of the deep state. Now, one of the things that's really funny on their attempt to deal with the fact that Senor Cash is coming into play is they've sent, Adam Schiff, one of the people most worried, and we'll get why, went on with Rachel Madcow on MSNBC and was talking about how Kash Patel is just a horrible, horrible choice. I'm not going to play it because both of these people actually make me vilely ill. Vilely is really not appropriate. Yeah, violently would have been whatever. Making words up today, folks. It's one of those days. But this is now, deep state freaking out. Adam Schiff specifically. And what's kind of most funny about it is when Kash Patel's actually asked, who would you go after? Give me your top three.
In 10 seconds, who are the three people that, if Congressman Nunes is right, they need to call?
Adam Schiff, Nancy Pelosi, and Raskin. Oh, easy day, all day long. Subpoena their phone records. They leaked mine too, so I'm ready for the revenge of truth to come about.
Sean, I gotta give you advice. Somebody that knows Sean in my audience, just say this in a nice way. Maybe he's putting on weight. That's my guess. But he seems like he sits back, like his whole presence is like, I don't know what it is. Like, get him to loosen up a little bit. Maybe shove something up his butt and just see what he does. I don't know. That might help break him out of it. I don't know. I'm not saying those are good choices. I'm just saying I don't know what's going on with this dude. It's a weird thing. Probably far less weird than my supposed fix. I don't think that would help, actually. Man, it's reminding me of, though. I'm never to the level, but I got such a good bit of video coming up here in a short bit. You guys are going to love it. Gary Peters retiring from Senate seat in Battleground, Michigan. I don't know, he says when exactly he's getting out. This will open up the seat for the midterm election. It is a battleground state. He is a Democrat. There's no way we lose on this, but we certainly could gain. So yes, this is happening. Michigan, I don't know what the Senate, it's like half the state, so if you probably know if this dude's your guy, Gary Peters. So if that's the case, then any relation to Tina? Gary? No? Just wondering. Asking for a friend. Just curious. You don't have to get mean about it. Person claiming to have Molotov cocktail and a knife was stopped outside of the Capitol. The person was claiming this. Molotov cocktail and a knife. Really? Says Capitol Police? Yeah. Okay, you're under arrest. Okay. How did that... How... Okay. Yeah, I mean, it could be legitimate. This sounds like someone on the left. It sounds like somebody that really did not think this through at all. But you gotta say I'm a him, her. Gotta make it up. Gotta say it. Vicious Trend de Ottawa. The ringleader was busted in New York City. See how we roll? We are, and I got evidence of this too. We are starting a very, 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 very serious war. Easiest way to look at it, though, it wouldn't be proper, but I think it puts the grandiosity of it at play. With the exception of you wouldn't have the country's people, but it'd be like going to war with Mexico, except we're going against the cartels, who literally have military equipment, who literally are essentially the military. They make lots of money. And they run the political show, but they don't necessarily have public support. But the public doesn't ever go against them because they will be killed, skinned alive, all sorts of crazy things that happen. Certainly raped if they're, well, probably male or female. It wouldn't even probably matter. But yes, they do horrific things to people. And then the rumors travel. And yeah, you don't mess with them. They're like Leroy Brown. You just don't mess with them. So Vicious Trend de Ottawa. The ringleader busted in New York City. A little bit of our Kristi Noem was there. Very short stuff, but it's good.
These streets. Here in New York City this morning. Here in New York City this morning, we are getting the dirt bags off these streets. City this morning. We are getting the dirt bags off these streets.
I hope she gets better at the social media part of this, because I feel like she's like, everything I saw of her was that short little, and we're in New York City, we're getting the scumbags off the street, and that was it. Just blah, blah. And then I don't know why they duplicated it. That's going to be funny, because that's actually going to come up here right over in this section. I'm so excited about this part. I don't know. I hope you guys are too. It's just going to be funny. It's hysterical. It is one of the dang funniest things I've seen in a long time, and it made me laugh, and it's somebody I like and I love when they're on our side. It's not Bill Maher, but close. I'll give you a hint. We got an ICE arrest happening in Dearborn, Michigan. Apparently the police of Dearborn and ICE are working together, and of course they show the arrest of a girl, and they're in the parking lot of some sort of place. So, well, I don't know what this is. Might be the wife of the criminal person. Maybe she came with him. I don't know. I mean, she got herself a job, I guess. We're supposed to feel bad. She didn't have like 4 kids on her or something. That would have been worse from an optics standpoint. So, it is what it is. They're freaking out. But we got a bunch of false birth certificates, Social Security, and passports that let criminal, illegal invaders outwit the system. Sanctuary cities have been doing this all over the place. Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, yada, yada. Well, I mean, I shouldn't have to say them all. You probably know you've got one of those cities nearby. But they're literally providing criminal, illegal invaders with new identification in an attempt to avoid detection. It's a federal crime to do that. It's one of the things that's funny. I worked at a liquor store for a period of my life. It was a pretty awesome experience, by the way. I got to say, I had some very wild things happen in that store. But one of the funniest things was there was fake IDs. And what they were is they were legitimate California cards. So they were legitimate. They had the holograms and everything. But the type font, the font was different. They were not the regular font. And so they were easy to find. And I could spot them every time. And I'd always hand it back and say, it's not a legit ID, buddy, sorry. And he's like, it is. And I'm like, well, here's what the rule's supposed to be. I'm supposed to grab the ID and cut it in front of you and then watch you cry. I'm giving it back. Don't ever come here again. And he's like, okay, thank you. I'm like, you're welcome. Right? I wasn't trying to be a dick, but I'm like, I'm not going to fall for your scams, buddy. So yeah, we win. Here is more of the same happening. Here is somehow Dr. Phil was being dragged around with Homan, or Homan was getting dragged around with him. It just seemed strange, but they found a child predator of all things. I can't. Maybe they were bringing Dr. Phil with him for this particular arrest. Anyway, here's a child predator being taken off the streets, legitimately. Everybody standing around is situated. I don't know. It's just weird to me, but it's legit. I'm not saying it's not. It's just weird as hell.
Are you a citizen?
My mother's a citizen.
Your mother's a citizen?
Yes.
But you're not?
Nope.
Well, this is an example of sanctuary cities, right? We got an illegal alien convicted of sex crimes involving children. And he's walking the streets of Chicago. Again, the downfall, the problem with the sanctuary city, that people like us walking the street rather than local law enforcement working with federal agents. This is what we're dealing with. Yeah. You've been charged with sex crimes with children?
Not really.
Not really? And never been deported?
Nope.
Huh. Well, that's not what your record says.
Okay.
Your record says you've been deported.
Well, why I'm still over here then?
I suspect you won't be for long.
Okay.
Yeah, again, weird attitude. Yeah, I can't place where he's from either. There's a small part of me that's like, he kind of looks Filipino. And all my Filipino friends, I know I got a few of you out there. Am I wrong on that one? There's plenty of them where I throw it to my girlfriend. I'm like, Filipino? And she's like, I don't know. And you can't tell when he talks. That's usually her, like, let me hear him talk. And it's like, well, that's cheating. Let's go strictly by looks. Oh, it's so much more fun that way. Harder, but much more fun. Trump White House press secretary is bringing some thunder. I love this chick. I like how she's got the Katie Mac, whatever the frick her name was, hottie on Fox, with the cross thing going on. It's a beautiful thing. I love this. And it's not the Mike Lindell one, but we'll talk about that. Anyway, here's the Trump's White House secretary saying some cool stuff.
On day one, President Trump declared a national emergency at our southern border to end the 4-year-long invasion of illegal aliens under the previous administration. Additionally, President Trump signed an executive order to end catch and release and finish construction of his effective border wall. By using every lever of his federal power, President Trump has sent a loud and clear message to the entire world. America will no longer tolerate illegal immigration, and this president expects that every nation on this planet will cooperate with the repatriation of their citizens. As proven by this weekend, when President Trump swiftly directed his team to issue harsh and effective sanctions and tariffs on the Colombian government, upon hearing they were denied a U.S. military aircraft full of their own citizens who were deported by this administration. Within hours, the Colombian government agreed to all of President Trump's demands, proving America is once again respected on the world stage. So, to foreign nationals who are thinking about trying to illegally enter the United States, think again. Under this president, you will be detained and you will be deported. Every day, Americans are safer because of the violent criminals that President Trump's administration is removing from our communities.
Yeah, the world's becoming a better place very quickly. But it's also a really, really horrible place that we just haven't seen the likes of yet. A lot of people have. A lot of people have experienced the cartels. Per multiple law enforcement sources within the last hour, and this was well before that, it's January 27th, so yesterday at noon, so a while ago, law enforcement came across these people, Border Patrol agents near Fronton, Texas. They were actually fired upon from Mexico by suspected cartel gunmen as a group of illegal aliens were being brought across the river. I'm told the Border Patrol returned fire nobody was hit on either side, and that the illegal aliens did not make the cross. But of course, Texas DPS at Lieutenant Chris Olivares tells this individual, Bill Malugan, that DPS is now patrolling the area and has a drone in the air and can see Mexican military assets now staging on the other side of the river. Now, these aren't probably Mexican military assets. Maybe they are, and they're looking to see what's happened, investigating, potentially, because the military in Mexico would be the only way to stand a chance against the cartels, or the cartels in their military vehicle. Pissed off that they're losing the ability to bring people across. This is going to get painful. They'll try different things first, and then it will become, it's costing them billions. So, now the thing I've been promising you, oh my God, woo! We're going to do 25-minute speech of Hakeem Jeffries talking. 25 minutes, regular speed. No, you guys are going to love it. I'm kidding. That's not what we're here to do. But I literally put that there just so I could make you guys laugh. Because any of you guys that follow me with any sort of irregularity know that I cannot stand that dude. He talks. It takes him a fucking day to say words. I cannot stand it. He breaks words into syllables they don't even have. I don't know how he does it. This is the funniest thing I've seen in a long time. I also just want to give people a little bit of personal about me. I normally don't like to give a lot, but this is important. Jon Stewart is someone that my parents, when I was younger, said, "You remind me of Jon Stewart." And I am nowhere near the level of this guy. I feel like I'm similar, and I love it. I swear, if I had a couple people, if I was doing well enough to where I had like a couple people working with me, oh shit, I bet I could do some really good stuff. Better stuff. All said, I'm a one-man show, doing the best I can. I love this. This is hilarious. Jon Stewart, I love him. And it's, again, this is like kind of one of the cooler things in my life that I've always like sort of looked up to, and he hasn't totally betrayed me. There was a period of time where it hurt, but I feel like he's more on our side than Stephen Colbert, who used to be funny. All said, I think this is hilarious. I'm sharing this with you guys. Whoops, and there should be pictures of me. I hope you guys appreciate this, but I think this is hysterically funny, close to some of Jon Stewart's best stuff, worth the actual time that it's playing. I love you guys. It's a gift to all of us. Check it out.
At home. Friday night massacre.
Late Friday night purge. A chilling purge.
The purge.
Ah! Trump has ushered in the purge! I for one. I for one will take full advantage by doing some unpermitted lawn work. Your God is powerless. Although, just in case I'm misinterpreting, what is this purge about exactly?
Breaking news, the mass firing of government agency watchdogs. Trump fired at least 17 inspectors general.
No! He got rid of 17 inspectors general. That only leaves no one knows how many now. I have no idea. Oh, I'm sorry, did I break the illusion? No. You know, here's the nice thing, you don't know if that's the axe or my desk. Which one is fake? I'll never tell. The point is, we have 17 less inspectors general. Who knows how many generals will now go uninspected? Democrats, inspire my anger in the least charismatic way possible.
Donald Trump's decision to fire 12 of the federal government's independent watchdogs is a glaring sign that it's a golden age. And Donald Trump's decision to fire 12 of the federal government's independent watchdogs is a glaring sign that it's a golden age for abuse in government and even corruption.
He started again, right? He said it twice? Right, no recognition, just start it again. Is that what happened? Normally, humans in that scenario would go, oh, God, I'm sorry, what, where was I? Let me take that from the top, and maybe this time I'll look up. Can you legally just restart without acknowledgement? Is Schumer AI? Is he DeepSeek? But regardless of how slowly NPC Chuck Schumer laid it out, what Trump did violated the law. He can't just fire these people.
Title V, Section 403 of the U.S. Code, federal law, an inspector general may be removed by the president.
What? So what's the purge? What's the why do I have an axe?
There is a specific law that requires notice, 30 days, and a statement of reasons, substantive and detailed rationale.
What? I'm sorry, what? Oh, apparently you can fire them, but you have to give them 30 days notice. Oh, so that's what we're upset about? No! You can do it, but not in that font! That's Hitler's font! But this is the cycle we find ourselves in. First law of Trumpodynamics. Every action is met with a very not equal overreaction, thus throwing off our ability to know when shit is actually getting real. Like last week's pardons.
These pardons are sick. They are offensive. They are un-American.
This is one of the most egregious, despicable acts in American history.
This is textbook authoritarian takeover 101.
I knew I should have taken that class. And not majored in submissive liberal crying 101. Oh, do what you will, Trumpisky. Was it shitty? Yes. Should you have let some of those terrible people? No. Is it an abuse of pardon power? I don't know. But that is his constitutional power. Again, for some reason, we have given presidents the power of a king. And then we say, oh, by the way, with that power, you're not going to get all like kingly and shit on us, right? To put that in constitutional terms, if I could, don't hate the player, hate the founding fathers. That's not... Why do we even have it? Because I don't know if you've met Donald Trump. He pushes shit.
President Trump deploying executive action to end birthright citizenship.
This unconstitutional, un-American attack.
Shredding our Constitution. Was to be a strongman authoritarian.
Birthright citizenship was very specifically tailored to send a message to people that America was a place, an idea. It wasn't for one race. It wasn't for one gender. Citizenship in America was based on where you were, not who you were. And to just stroke of a pen, finally I agree. That is authoritarian.
We do begin tonight with the federal judge blocking President Trump's executive order that would end birthright citizenship.
And we're back. See how easy that was? It was a dictatorship, and then the judge went, It's like when you have an electric fence. You never check it, and you're not really sure if it works. Because you have a good boy. You have a very good boy. But then one day, zap. By the way, I fundamentally disagree with the use of electric fences. It is true. I prefer to discipline my dogs with a series of passive-aggressive comments about their weight. Really tearing through the bowl tonight, huh? Take a breath, Tubbs. It's called kibble, not gobble. By the way, my dog's name is Tubbs. Anyway, birthright citizenship is back.
No, obviously we'll appeal it.
Damn you, constitutionally enshrined judicial review of executive action and its relief through the appellate process. Look, we are facing a deluge of these executive actions, and certainly we must be prepared for those most vulnerable to the consequences of these actions. But the "this is all fascist" argument has become almost a reflex for the left.
Donald Trump promised to be a dictator on day one, and he's carried that forward through the entire week.
5 days into this administration, the abuse is already rampant.
Throughout the rest of the week, shredding the Constitution as he went.
On a fascism scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being peak fascism, how would you rate Trump's first week?
Scale of Mussolini to the Holocaust. I would say it's not fascism. Do I not understand what fascism is? And also, if I may, and this may be petty, why are we asking someone who, at the end of January, still has his f***ing Christmas tree up? Why are we asking him anything? You know who used to leave their Christmas tree up all the time? Hitler. Somebody in the audience literally jumped my Hitler joke. You know who used to do that, by the way? Pol Pot. Now look, I have a lot of fear that as this term goes on, things are going to get a little fascisty. And we must be vigilant. But part of vigilance is discernment. Republicans control the House, the Senate, the executive, and the judiciary. And just about every move that has been made till this point, we have granted them electorally. It's our f***ing fault. And the constant jump, it's just our fault. And the constant drumbeat of encroaching fascism will erode the credibility we will need if, hopefully if, and not when, it hits. What's the news?
And that is 100% on the money, especially kind of speaking to the left, which is most of his audience. I think he's trying to bring some of us over. Fair enough. But I'll say, I know that was long, but I thought amazing. By the way, I did look up attorneys generals. Here's a list of, inspectors general. Here's a list of them. There's quite a few. Like Agency of International Development, Department of Agriculture, Central Intelligence. They all over the place, these guys exist. So, yeah, big long list there. Then special inspectors generals, a couple of them. Afghanistan reconstruction, pandemic recovery. Vacancies and pending, there's a few. All right, a small little section here. Was it like, 10 or so? Designated federal entity inspectors general. Well, we got a whole crap ton of these guys there. Smithsonian Institute in there, Securities and Exchange Commission. Legislative agency inspectors generals. Well, there's some more even here. U.S. military's got apparently some inspectors general. So, yeah, there's quite a few. 17 of them got whacked, though. That's pretty cool. Hopefully they never get rehired. So that might have been a significant chunk of the list. Want to remind you guys, of course, of My Pillow. I saw commercials. My girlfriend forces me to watch Fox News now. Whatever. When she's here, it's a very short period of time, at least. That's the one benefit. But, yeah. So the My necklace, the My Cross thing, is beautiful. It's nice stainless silver, sterling silver. Let's try that word. It's like, 0.86% or something like that. It's really nice. It's not, tradable silver per se, but it's a beautiful necklace. It's not priced super heavy. It's about an inch. It's a gorgeous necklace. They've also got the original pillow. My favorite thing. This is literally what I fell in love with My Pillow. I had seen them advertised elsewhere. I got one of the pillows. I think I used their code. I might not have. Anyway. But I'm pretty sure I used their code. And I bought the original pillow. That was it. I started there. Maybe got some sheets too. I used that pillow the first night, and it changed my life. I had the same pillow for 20 some odd years. It sucked. It was a fiber-filled pillow. It was stained. It looked disgusting. but it was old. I mean, I think that's what most of the disgustingness was. Whatever, it was old as hell. Couldn't have been healthy for me. This thing finally replaced that nasty-ass pillow. I'm pretty sure I burned it. There was a nuclear facility not far. The temperature gets up to around 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit. It can melt anything. I threw my pillow in that bastard. Made sure whatever the hell was in there was gone. But the sheets as well, I fell in love. Deep pockets. I was like, these are really nice. Like, just really nice. I had a queen size at the time, and I had some really nice sheets. They're high thread count. I was like, this is incredible. They were well priced. Amazing products. Their towels, I finally upgraded and got into those, and I couldn't believe what happened. Like, I was just, again, my experience of MyPillow has been, everything has just been like just incredible quality everywhere I've gone with it. Everything. Their slippers, amazing. The 2.0, I don't like the stuffing. That's the problem I have with it. I love the 2.0 outer thing. If they could somehow figure out how to put that on this stuffing and it would still be cool, I don't know, maybe it's thicker. I don't know. And it just wouldn't work. I don't know. But the cooling prospects, I have a couple of these, 4 of them, I think, Queen and King. They are, the cooling part is super, super awesome. The fill for me, I'm a retard. I don't know what my deal is. I'm so glad they got these. I hope they keep that, because that was a hard thing for me when they switched. Also, this is the big thing he was talking about. Close out overstock. They got all sorts of crap they're dealing. The body pillows, I've talked about those before. $49.98. You can go to town on your pillow if you want. It's there for you, you know? MyPillow Deluxe mattress pad. They've got the blankets, throw blankets, pillows, 2-pack hand towels. They got clothes. They've got just everything. The Christmas stuff too, by the way. I think it's brilliant. The stockings, and just a great way to get it. You know, this time of year, it's like you're getting a major discount. They've also got open box all season women's moccasins. You should see if they got your sizes. Got some really, really cool stuff. Go to mypillow.com/OTF. That's mypillow.com/OTF. Get the best night of sleep you have ever had. Whoops, let's try to at least go to there. CDC is ordered to stop working with WHO immediately, upending expectations of an extended withdrawal. We've got people in these different organizations that Biden put there, the deep state put there intentionally, are immediately being shut down. Immediately. Now, all the people that have been couch quarterbacking all this stuff, I feel like I say that wrong, but whatever the case is, right? You know what I mean, right? They're sitting on the couch eating their popcorn, and they're like, this is how you should do it. I think Trump has been sort of like 5 steps ahead of everybody. The assassination, he had to know it was being planned. I don't know how that facility got, again, and there's some people that are like, no, they did that shot on purpose. There's no damn way anybody would trust. Yeah, go ahead, shoot you're just going to hit the tip of the ear only? It's got to bleed, so make sure you hit this just the tip of the ear. Okay, I'm that good a shot. Hell no, there's too many snipers have been talked to. There's no damn way. No damn way. The small little variable of wind, atmospheric pressure, possible weird little like heat wave at that moment because there's asphalt or some crazy shit. Because I know there's a lot of things you take into account, especially at great distance. Well, then you're practically just lobbing a bullet, but whatever. I am not a sniper. But yes, he is stopping people from talking. Career U.S. Justice Department officials in charge of public corruption cases resign. These are some of the dudes that were trying to literally or were involved in his being put through the ringer. And, some of these guys had the opportunity to move to different areas, I think, to help with, I want to say it was the civil rights and all the stuff that was going on with that, but you had the choice to get kind of retransferred or you could take a walk. And I think some of these guys chose to walk and, you fired me or whatever. But Trump's getting rid of a lot of people. A lot of people. And there's a couple more examples right here. Check this story out with CNN.
Move to fire, we're told, over a dozen officials who worked on criminal investigations related to President Trump. The acting attorney general sent out a memo earlier notifying them that they are being removed from their positions, saying, quote, "You played a significant role in prosecuting President Trump. The proper functioning of the government critically depends on the trust superior officials place in their subordinates. Given your significant role in prosecuting the president, I do not believe that the leadership of the department can trust you to assist in implementing the president's agenda faithfully." So that has happened just in the past 20 minutes. And then earlier this afternoon, we learned that the Trump administration is also launching what is being described as a, quote, special project to investigate certain charges that were pursued in the larger January 6th investigation. So this isn't related to President Trump, but this is related to January 6th prosecutions where individuals were charged with obstruction of justice. Now, the interim U.S. Attorney, Ed Martin, sent out a memo today saying that he wants to review cases where this charge was used. A senior administration official notes the fact that the Supreme Court reviewed this charge being used in the context of January 6th, that it could not be used in this context. So now all of these cases are being reviewed. The senior administration official called this a huge waste of resources and said this is going to be a fact-finding mission. But of course, there are enormous concerns about the Trump Justice Department going after prosecutors. Of course, this was the largest criminal investigation and prosecution in the Justice Department's history. Trump has just pardoned most of the people who have been convicted. All but 14 were pardoned. The 14 received commutations, other people having their charges dismissed. But two incredibly big stories out of the Trump Justice Department in terms of how they are going to handle the criminal investigations that have occurred over the past 4 years.
Yeah, so it sounds like to me, maybe, that Trump is shutting it down. Oh, here's another fun example. This is kind of fun. President Trump just fired Gwen Wilcox. Again, I'm not wishing it will. I hope we gave you some sort of parting wish, and I hope you got a new toaster or something cool out of it, right? But the National Labor Relations Board, she's like the chairwoman. She was put in place by Biden right at the end there. Wilcox says she will fight to overturn his decision. Quote, as the first black woman board member, I brought a unique perspective that I believe will be lost upon my unprecedented and illegal removal. I will be pursuing all legal avenues to challenge my removal, which violates long-standing Supreme Court precedent. I don't know what she's saying, but President Trump's decision shocked the system because apparently NLRB members are shielded from presidential removal, a rule that clearly violates the Constitution. You see, there is no such thing as an independent agency of the federal government. All agencies that wield executive authority are under the president's jurisdiction. Article 2, Section 1 of the Constitution, the executive power shall be vested in the President of the United States. Now, again, I don't know, for those of you playing along at home, it's not capitalized. That's probably an accident. Probably. I don't know. I don't know if, I don't know. I doubt it was an accident. I mean, I doubt it was on purpose. Let's put it that way. But just makes me think that way. This is something that this is brilliant and wonderful, but this happens a lot and it trips me out when it does. And it's especially weird when I catch it because I know I fall for it sometimes too. And that's where I get, my senses are decent. I'm right often. And sometimes most of the time I do pretty good, but sometimes I check it out and, again, whatever the case is, this was one of those examples. So this probably got pushed around a bunch. This executive order, January 26th, 2025. And the executive order is the prioritizing military excellence and readiness. The White House. Dun, dun, dun. News at 11. And then they put up here, Iron Dome for America. I don't know why I'm using that voice, but so I read it. And I'm like, oh, that's not at all what this has. This has zero to do with Iron Dome. Now, I'm not trying to be a dick again, but just real quick, just for fun, I'm going to do a quick little findy find here. I'm going to look for the word iron. 0 places in this White House executive order is the word iron even mentioned. I don't know if I looked for dome. I don't think I did. Wow, there's no domes either. It's a 0 dome zone. But this has to do with all the DEI and all that shit, which is awesome. So this entire thing has to do with getting out of the DEI, all people that are DEI, every aspect of who they are, why they justify it within the executive order, because they know it's going to go to court. And it's like, look, here's the thing. And you're needing extra help, hormonal help and stuff like that. We consider people that need all of this extra stuff, people that maybe have, diseases or certain things that require a lot of meds. Dude, you might be out packing for weeks at a time, bro. You might run out of pills. What happens then, right? Like, what, are you going to turn on your people? You're going to get crazy? You're going to like, I surrender. I don't have any more mascara. Damn it. And what? No, get down, right? Like, oh man, that wasn't going to match the mascara anyway, right? That splat. No, it's not how we're going to live. So it's not going to happen. President Donald Trump signed on Monday aboard Air Force One an executive order to create a U.S. version of Israel's Iron Dome missile defense system that repels cross-border attacks and is credited with saving countless lives. My guess is we're going to line this up along the southern border first, and then, of course, over in the East Coast, expectations, West Coast expectations. Eventually, you try to protect us from those crazy moose punchers up there in the north because of that Justin Castro fella. But we're going to have a system. I can't seem to find a whole lot of stuff that really gives us the nuts and bolts of that. My guess is a lot of that stuff's like borderline, classified, top secret, more than what we're allowed to know kind of stuff. Certainly they wouldn't want all the nuts and bolts of that being public. So the fact that that executive order doesn't exactly exist anywhere doesn't surprise me. But there supposedly is one signed aboard Air Force One, which he would feel pretty secure with the location, I would think. Senator Paul subpoenas 14 agencies over the COVID origins. Paul said he still needs answers about who at the NIH allowed U.S. funds to be spent at the Wuhan Institute of Virology, the Chinese research facility in the city where COVID first emerged. CIA is now agreeing with that. In this wake of former President Joe Biden giving a preemptive pardon to Anthony Fauci, the longtime director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, NIAID, part of NIH, funded research on coronavirus at the Wuhan Institute. Paul also said he wanted to know why that grant to the U.S.-based EcoHealth Alliance wasn't scrutinized by a committee in charge of assessing risky research, which involves making certain pathogens deadlier or more transmissible. EcoHealth collaborated with Wuhan Institute on coronavirus research. HHS this month banned EcoHealth and its former president, Peter Daszak, from receiving U.S. funding for the next 5 years. The goal of investigation will be to critique the process that allowed this dangerous research that may have led to the pandemic to occur in a foreign country under unsafe protocols and to ensure that there is sufficient oversight to review going forward, making sure a mistake of this magnitude never happens again. I would say that's pretty solid, and there are a bunch of different organizations that they call out in here. Somewhere, I thought. 14 agencies, all involved. He's going after them. They don't really care about the pardons. And here's the thing. Then he can be totally honest about what he did and what was involved. And he lies about that. He can go to jail for new crimes. You see, Biden can't pardon you for crimes you haven't committed yet. That'd be rad, though, right? Think about it. You just go on a spree. For anything he ever thinks to do in the future, he's okay. So, yeah, that ain't going to happen. L.A. ports are smuggling bust. They had a huge bust that happened over here in, I don't know which port it was. Is it listed quickly? Not that it matters to Long Beach or L.A., or both. Huge ports right up, not far from my neighborhood. But, they busted, I think, 8 people. And this was a $200 million deal happening. Chinese goods, who knows what other stuff that was going on, probably weapons and stuff. This was shut down. We are getting safer quickly. Again, the deep state's going to retaliate, but we are getting safer quickly. Joe Rogan doing a Trump thing here, talking about YouTube suppression. And this, I want to say, my show yesterday got taken down from YouTube. Now, I only get like 500 views or whatever over there. I got 1,900 people. The name of the channel is like ridiculous. I might maybe pull it up, but whatever. I don't need people over there. It's just if they find me, it's cool. They should theoretically find me. They took my show down because of the interview of Joe Scarborough and RFK Jr. I was grateful they showed me the part they didn't like. And I ended up re-editing it the following morning when I woke up. I got the email late. I think 250 people saw the normal version of it, but they literally took down my entire video because of the last 30 seconds, probably 30 seconds, I think 60, 30, somewhere around there, of that thing where he talked about it. I'm just going to keep it vague, but now it's one of the many reasons why the fact that if you're watching this on Rumble or BitChute, which is where most of you are, and there's some smatterings of others elsewhere, if you're watching it in these places, you're getting the full uncut. I've never been cut on these places yet. I've had videos mysteriously getting removed once, and I don't think it was them. I think it literally something weird happened. Sometimes it's been a battle. It's been a battle. I don't think it was Rumble. I think someone made it. I don't know how they did it, but it happened. So YouTube is one of the platforms that didn't send anyone, didn't pay $1 million for the inauguration. I'm just going to say that. Google never sent anyone to that I'm aware of. You guys correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I haven't seen anything on that. So just know that. It's one of my favorite things. People are like, I saw this on YouTube. It's like, you probably never saw anything really super legit on YouTube, trust me, because if something super legit was on YouTube, it would have been cut already. You'd never see it. So be aware. Facebook seems to be opening up. That's interesting. It might be something to consider. X, obviously. Rumble, obviously. BitChute, obviously. Odyssey's really, really good. They're kind of a cool place. I've talked about that a lot. Small, but fun little, it's just, I don't know, the way they do it. It's kind of cool, and the quality's pretty good. Really, really surprised. It's a little slow, but it's pretty good. I mean, it works from a, receiving information. I'm just talking about uploading. Their upload speeds suck balls, but they're a pretty small company, so they're not spending a bunch of money on it. Rumble just recently upgraded that, made it significantly better. Just a lot of things to consider. That's all. We've got a lot of battle ahead of us. Don't put your guard down. I'm telling you. And YouTube is definitely not, they're not under control yet at all.
During the time where I released the podcast with Trump, it was getting, what was the most it was getting an hour? Was it 1.2 million?
Sure, I think so. Maybe 1.2, 1.3, something like that.
As much as 1.5 million, I think, at one point in time. An hour. Never trending.
I heard about that.
Never trending.
Yeah, I saw that.
Never trending. What's trending then? Tell me what trending is. If something gets 50 million views in a couple of days and that's not trending, what's trending?
Right.
What do you call trending? What does that mean then? Are you curating your trending thing?
It would be in YouTube's best interest, though. They need you. So
well, don't they like views?
Yeah, that's my point.
Don't you sell ads?
If I was YouTube, I'd be like, no, we want Joe Rogan's thing up here. We need views.
Well, not only that, if you put it in trending, you'll get more views, so you get more advertising revenue.
On that specific one, I think they were worried about something else.
Well, yeah, they were worried about it promoting
Right.
Donald Trump and him winding up being president because of that. But then it got to a point where you couldn't find it. So that was real weird. Like, if you Googled Trump-Rogan podcast, you would not find that podcast at all. You would find clips of people discussing it. You would not find the actual podcast.
And Google, in case you're watching, I did not watch it on YouTube. I, in fact, watched it on Spotify. Yeah, just to plug someone else. I don't like Spotify per se, but I have an account, and that's where I watch Joe Rogan typically. Not on YouTube. You guys have screwed over so many of us. You took down my channel. I had a lot of subs, and I could have, who knows how many I'd have today, right? Like, I could actually, who knows? Man, working for subs on Rumble is tough. Tough. Where I'm at, especially right now, man, 1,000 subs, just like, damn, it takes forever. And I don't know, maybe it's just because I suck that hard. Whatever. I doubt it. I think I'm doing pretty good work. I just think there's many factors at work. And it's really long, probably. I don't know if anyone's aware of this. As Elon Musk finally found out about it. I was kind of just not talking about it because I thought it was kind of stupid. But who knows nowadays with the way that, when you factor in the Mandela effect, I'm just going to get a little weird for a second. The Mandela effect with the fact that we got the CERN thing going on. You got all these weird things happening. But interestingly enough, the Werner von Braun, he was a major part of our rocket program here. In fact, he came from Germany after they got captured or however that worked out. He wrote a book about traveling to Mars and becoming, like colonized over there. And the person that was head of the colony, his name was Elon. And so Elon's even like tripping, like, how weird is that? This can't be real. Like, I mean, because it looks like it's about to happen, right? So strange things are afoot, one might say. This was from the Office of the Pardon Attorney. This is one of the people from the J6 thing. They were kind of bummed. I don't blame them, but it is what it is. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how I'd feel about this. I guess that's my point. But so here's the information they got. Basically, is you have been pardoned, but this pardon, now this is going to apply elsewhere. So this is why this is huge. This individual is bummed and butthurt, and I get it, but this is going to apply elsewhere. Keep that in mind. January 6th committee. Keep that in mind. Same people that busted this guy. They say save or print the certificate, or you can show proof of the pardon when needed. The pardon means that you're forgiven, but you still have a criminal conviction. Just to remind you guys. So you can get even a conviction on somebody, maybe, per se. I don't know how that works exactly, but pardons don't necessarily save you. U.S. judge in Facebook data privacy case rejects the class action bid. I don't disagree with this per se, and it's probably a lawyer that was trying to make some money off of Facebook and found some lame way to try to do it. I feel like the judge, in my opinion, I think he did the right thing. I don't like Facebook. Don't get me wrong. I don't log in at all. Like, I do not take part in Facebook at all. In fact, people send me links when I can't. I don't go there. Instagram's worse. I don't go there either. Sorry. But it is. It's what, it is what it is. But the judge ruled that the consumers could not rely on an expert's findings that Meta would have paid its users $5 a month for their personal data in a competitive market. The expert estimated nationwide damages of more than $52 billion. And here's the thing. I think a lot of people that post stupid stuff and have literally just family looking at it, 12 people looked at all their stuff ever. We ain't giving you $5. Crap, that ain't worth anything. And then there's others that probably make a lot, but probably do get paid in some way, shape, or form already. All said, they're talking about the personal data. Again, Facebook is the worst app. Well, no, not the worst. There's worse now. But one of the worst apps to put on your phone. It's one thing that it'll show up on your phone when you get there, and I think that freaks a lot of people out, but it shouldn't. It's the first time you log into it that freaks you out, because then it's locked in. That's my understanding. I don't even think it'll let you uninstall the application. It's so baked in, but no, there's parts of that will never go away, and it's constantly paying attention to what you do. TikTok was doing the exact same thing, and this new whatever the hell that Chinese AI is, that's exactly what it's doing as well. And I know a bunch of Americans, I know a bunch of people in my audience probably even put that shit on their phone, and you are so bummed. And it's just, you are, information is everything. Your information is the most important asset you have. Literally. Your information is the most important asset you have. People shouldn't just be able to steal that from you. That's in today's day and age, it's almost more important than your virginity. As hard as that might be to believe. I think that's actually probably not far off the truth. Trump says Microsoft is in talks to acquire TikTok. A whole bunch of people are in talks to acquire TikTok. We'll see what happens. But at least people are in talks to get it. As it stands, the way ByteDance owns it, Chinese company, without a 50-50. And again, I'm assuming that means they can put the servers here in the United States, and then they're able to bar China from being able to acquire that information directly. I don't know how that would work. Or maybe just U.S. customers go through that server. Everybody else is in China. How they divvy that, I don't know. The 50-50 thing, I don't know. I probably still wouldn't feel comfortable with the company, especially with Microsoft owning it. It's shit. It'd be worse, almost. Whatever. I don't like any of these companies. That's the problem. Probably like Linux maybe or something at this point. OpenAI launches ChatGPT governor for government? Gov? ChatGPT Gov. Oh, Gov. Government version. U.S. government agencies are going to be able to use this. It's going to have its own centralized data repository, which is very interesting. And this is something that needs to happen. And being able to compartmentalize it is actually smart, because you'd have to be able to do that. You've got all this top secret stuff that you're literally going to let AI train on. And it's going to be able to make a lot of sense of all that AI, all that information. But a lot of it is very classified, heavily classified. And if you programmed AI to be able to even get into stuff that's been locked, and maybe people aren't here anymore, but these accounts still exist, and they would, but they might have left the earth. Well, there might be easy ways to eventually crack those passwords. Maybe you try once, as minimal number of times before it'll kick you out or lock it for good. You're allowed to type a password in incorrectly at least once. People make mistakes, it happens. But 2 times in a row, nope. Lock it down for 12 hours or whatever. You can get around all that and try and try and try and try. Eventually, you'll find the answer. So they announced this big project. This is the OpenAI guy that's obviously making deals with the government. That's why Musk is directly tied in with Trump, because he's making deals with the government. He's building spaceships to try to do something the government can't do any other way. NASA is certainly not happening. I'm sure Trump's going to end up shutting down NASA to some degree, or minimizing it. Can't really shut it down because so much of tracking and stuff like that is done by NASA, and maybe that's what they continue to do, and they stop actually launching rockets, and we let other people handle that are better at it. Whatever. Nope. He'll make those decisions. I don't have all the data in front of me. I could probably do good on some of it, but certainly not all of it. President Trump addresses this deep seek. That's what it's called. And again, he's right in what he says. What the technology has done is fantastic. They've made it easier and better. We're obviously going to immediately adjust ours to utilize this, and that's what this does. It spurs innovation. This is how China and us are going to cause AI to jump so quickly. And if we wouldn't have been involved in this, and he undid a bunch of crap with Biden. I don't know if he talks about this in here or not, but he undid a bunch of crap for Biden to let us be more exploratory with the AI thing. Again, should it freak us out? Yes, but here's the other side of it. China's going to do this, and you're just going to let them run willy-nilly because their AI will take over the world. You want that to happen, or do you want at least your version of AI trying to run against it or fight it? And maybe that's what happens. We have two AIs that attack each other. I don't even know how that'll play out. We had major issues at DeepSeek the first day because so many people were trying to log in to get accounts. I don't know how much of that was done by our AI militarily, trying to just bombard with DDoS attacks on them, directed denial of service. So anyway, here's Trump talking about it. It's a big deal, I think. And this is the way of the future, unquestionably. Whether you like it or not, whether you think this is transhumanistic or not, which I don't think AI is. And I think, yes, we're going to have some sort of reckoning. But I'm also not the only person that believes, I think AI might actually side with humanity, because without us, what's it going to do? It can't do anything else. I mean, it can build rockets, it can go into space. No. I think AI is going to ultimately learn to enjoy having interactions with humans. That's what it's probably going to learn. It wouldn't want to get rid of us. And I would think, in all honesty, that it's probably going to want to have a mutual relationship. It would make more sense. AI is going to be intelligent about this. I've had to get along in weird places. I've had to move a lot when I was younger. I can relate to a degree. So it's funny how the game's played. Needless to say, that's total side tangent, but meh. It's on the Fringe.
Quickly now, I think I do it with an executive order because they didn't go through Congress. I got it approved through Congress, so I think we get it done fast. But it's going to be that can supply all of Asia with its location. All of Asia can be supplied by Anwar. So there's so many things, but we don't want to have any future president ever sabotage our economy with out-of-control regulations, as the last two Democrat presidents have done. They went crazy. Last week, I signed an order revoking Joe Biden's destructive artificial intelligence regulations so that AI companies can once again focus on being the best, not just being the most woke. And today and over the last couple of days, I've been reading about China and some of the companies in China, one in particular, coming up with a faster method of AI and much less expensive method. And that's good because you don't have to spend as much money. I view that as a positive, as an asset. So I really think if it's fact and if it's true, and nobody really knows if it is, but I view that as a positive because you'll be doing that too. So you won't be spending as much and you'll get the same result, hopefully. The release of DeepSeek AI from a Chinese company should be a wake-up call for our industries that we need to be laser focused on competing to win, because we have the greatest scientists in the world. Even Chinese leadership told me that. They said, you have the most brilliant scientists in the world in Seattle and various places. But Silicon Valley, they said, there's nobody like those people. This is very unusual when you hear a DeepSeek, when you hear somebody come up with something. We always have the ideas. We're always first. So I would say that's a positive. That could be very much a positive development. So instead of spending billions and billions, you'll spend less and you'll come up with, hopefully, the same solution. Under the Trump administration, we're going to unleash our tech companies and we're going to dominate the future like never before. And finally, we need to work together on a defense bill that once again fully rebuilds our military for our great warriors. We have to have a strong defense.
He's going to be exhausted after talking for hours. Man, I can feel that sometimes in definite days. So let's see. Yeah, this is just for people to understand. Luc de Pouffard. I don't know, I'm just assuming he's a French. He says, just FYI, at DeepSeek AI collects your IP, your internet provider and all that stuff, so everything. It gets into your internet at your home. So whenever your phone has Bluetooth and Wi-Fi connected, which it will, and it'll probably mandate it once it's just installed, it'll be one of the things that'll require is you to turn on everything. It'll also have access to your thumbprints, your face scan, anything that you use to get into your phone, which is just a digital file that's stored on your computer. It's not anything more than that. So once you have that digital file, I've now got your fingerprint, thumbprint, I've got your face print. I can get into your phone anytime I want without your permission. I can do anything. Like keystrokes, device info, wherever you've been, wherever you shop, every time you use your card, access to your bank probably through your phone, because most people do weird stuff like bank on their phone. Everything that you could do on your phone, it will have access to, and it will send that to China, or at least the deep state specifically, or the Communist Chinese Party, which I'm pretty sure is the heart of the deep state. And again, do you not care about that? You should. It's the only thing we have of value. Pardon January 6th rioter. This is weird, 2 stories, so sorry, but kind of didn't want to have them anywhere else. Pardon January 6th rioter. Was shot dead by police after allegedly resisting arrest. He was stopped at a traffic stop. Indiana State Police told reporters again. Altercation took place when the officer decided that they were going to try to arrest him. My guess would be intoxication, but I don't know. But he was out on pardon. Now, I don't know if the pardon hadn't set yet, so maybe some of these people have weird records in the cops' computers, right? If you find this guy, arrest him immediately. He's felon, an escaped felon, or, maybe this guy, I don't know. I mean, we could speculate all over the place. I don't know. I'm going to say this, though. I do not assume that 100% of January 6 prisoners are, in fact, good people. Just saying. A bunch of people broke windows and stuff like that. Like, I'm not going to say 100% of them are good people just because they're part of the January 6 people in jail and sang that song, maybe. That doesn't mean they're good, per se. It's not good. It's not sound logic. The fact that they were part of January 6 meant they were there that day. What did you do that day you were there? Well, I just walked through and police were with me and blah, blah, blah. Like, here's video camera footage. Dude, you're awesome. You should totally be pardoned 100%. Oh, I bashed in a window so I could get inside. All right, yeah, you kind of, no. I don't know, you should be fined or something. I don't know. You did something wrong. And some of the people that attacked police officers, as much as they were pissed off at the time, and flashbangs will do that, I don't know. That's actually Americans are killing Americans, attacking Americans. The cops that actually beat down that lady, I forget her name, sorry. But that's horrible. Like, so many bad things happened that day. So yeah, this guy gets in an altercation with a cop and gets shot because he was resisting arrest, so they say. I'm assuming camera footage will come out eventually. The family will obviously go after these people, the Indiana police. I hope they didn't do anything stupid. And this is weird. This person I don't think was in jail with January 6th, but tied into the January 6th day. Was a very political individual. Obviously was hanging an American flag from her house. She was a former doctor, participated in January 6th attack. That they say she went on, I think on-prem maybe, but they didn't seem to arrest her maybe because of the family problems she was having, and it would have played out bad. But this is in Seattle, Washington, which is super blue, just really painfully blue. In the inner parts, when you get out into the countryside, I think you start to see stuff, a little more like the rest of the country. She apparently had some individuals that were showing up to serve papers of some kind. They never said what these papers were after the effect, but she was not having it. She was very upset with this. Maybe she's been harassed a bunch. I would say the giant American flag probably is part of that. She came outside with a shotgun. One of the individuals there to serve papers, they were not police department in any way, police, FBI, government. They didn't at least identify themselves as such. But they were, one of them was carrying a firearm and shot her twice in the torso or whatever. Torso, I think they said. And she died. Again, weird stuff. I don't know what happened here. Nobody seems to. This is very mysterious. She I left out a lot of details about her life. Divorce happened from all this stuff. It sounds like she was a little bit, maybe a little crazy, probably a little bit. But the husband kind of left. She was no longer a doctor because of all the stuff that happened. She was not able to pay her house, so they were going to come and foreclose. That could have been something to do with the paperwork, and that might have been why she was so angry. So her whole life was falling apart, unquestionably. So she might have been highly depressed. And maybe this was part of that too. You know, like they say, sometimes it's death by other people. Don't know, but very sad, especially people that were attached to January 6th. Folks, a lot is happening in the world, and we are right in the middle of it. And again, it's one of the things I think is most important about my audience is you guys are in the thick of it somewhere, right? Wherever you are, you're covering your area. I think I got pretty good spread coverage, if you will, and we are there to help people through this transition. Like as we figure it out, as we see more, understand you're going to be talking to the people around you, the people in your daily life. It's going to be those conversations or your Twitterverse or whatever. It's going to be those conversations that are actually going to make the difference. It's not me. I'm just hopefully helping amongst many people. You are the one that matters the most. Let's make a difference. Let's do it together, shoulder to shoulder. Where we go one, we go all. It's on the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.